Hi there, Leslie Crow here with Nicholas Conservatory and Gardens. And today I have my friend Alfredo helping me make salt dough ornaments. Stick around with us and we'll teach you how to do a step-by-step how-to.
Alright, so let's get started on salt dough keepsake ornaments. We're going to need 1 cup of salt. You're going to need 2 cups of flour. And 1 cup of water. You will also want a straw to poke a hole in your ornament. You'll then thread your ribbon through that hole, so you'll need some ribbon to complete this ornament. Let's get started by getting a bowl out and mixing our salt and flour together. Starting with our flour, we're going to pour 2 cups of flour in our bowl. Next, we're going to add 1 cup of salt to our flour. Make sure you mix that through with a wooden spoon or a spatula. Now this recipe does call for 1 cup of water, but we are going to mix in our water slowly into our flour and salt mix. Lightly pouring in a little bit of water at a time while stirring and creating that dough. It will start off to be a little chunky at first, but as long as you maintain the slow pour and then stir, you'll start seeing the consistency start to tighten up and become more dough-like. Right around here I felt like my dough was looking pretty chunky, so I decided to forego the spoon and just stick my hands in the bowl and start kneading it. This did tighten things up and made it much easier to handle. Some of the dry content was still dry towards the bottom of the bowl, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this out of the bowl and knead it. But what I'm also going to do is wet my hands a little bit so that I can pick up some of that dry stuff and make it part of this dough ball. You are going to fold over and knead the dough for about 10 minutes. Once you're done, just make it into a big ball. Let it rest for about another 10 minutes. While our dough is resting, let's go ahead and get ready for the next part. Let's get our ribbon ready, as well as our baking sheet and a straw. You'll also want to preheat the oven right now at 250 degrees. Once your dough is done resting, you can start pulling it apart, making those shapes for your ornaments. I am grabbing handfuls of dough, rolling them out, and then flattening them into a patty shape, leaving a little bit of thickness to them just so that they can go ahead and take any shape or texture that I decide to imprint onto them. This recipe will allow you to make around 12 ornaments, so just keep on pulling and rounding them out and you should be able to get around a dozen ornaments off of this. Because we want to make these into ornaments, we need to poke holes through them so that we can string ribbon through. So using a straw, go ahead and poke a hole towards the top of your ornament, and if you get any dough stuck in your straw, go ahead and use a toothpick. I find that to be helpful to grab the dough back out, and we'll do this for each one of our ornaments. Here comes the fun part. With your fresh dough, you can imprint almost anything into your dough. So I went outside and I found a few clippings from shrubs and trees, some pine cones, and I'm going to use these natural tools to imprint into my dough. I also find that salt dough ornaments are great to capture little handprints, footprints, or in my case, little paw prints. Now that you have all your ornaments imprinted, go ahead and lay them flat on a baking sheet. We are going to pop these guys in the oven for 2 hours at 250 degrees. Once your ornaments are done baking, go ahead and let them cool. Remove them off of the baking sheet and let's get ready for the next step, painting. Now we're ready to paint. For this next part, you'll need paintbrushes, paint, and a cup of water to rinse off those paintbrushes. Today, I'll be using watercolor. And I'm also going to be using a paper plate, which I typically use for paint mixing. Once you're all finished painting up your ornaments, go ahead and let them dry. Let's clean up our surroundings just to lessen the load at the end of this. Once your paint is nice and dry, you can cut ribbon to around 6 to 8 inches long. This will give you your ribbon, string, rope to loop through your ornament. This way you can hang your ornament on a Christmas tree, on a car mirror. You can make it as part of the packaging to a gift, and it's complete. Now that your ornament is complete, you can hang it wherever you'd like. You can save it for Christmas. You can hang it on a wall. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had fun making salt door ornaments.